It is that time. Hello, everybody. Brighter with Herbert and their viewers just joined. Say hello, hello, those viewers. That's a co-stream. It goes out on all three channels. It goes out on Investing Against the Grain with Nick. It goes out on Futuraza with me, and it goes out on Brighter with Herbert. Howdy, everybody. We're going to start with these questions that are right here. How am I expecting cybercabs? Tesla to train the cybercabs with or without real world data from the form factor? This is a very good question because we noticed that when the Cybertruck launched, FST was not ready, and we were all very confused. How is this possible? I thought that once it could see the world, it could understand the world. And I had a chance to interview the engineers of Cybercab with it. I said, "How long would it take to train it?" They go, "It's already trained." I go, "Okay. Well, what if somebody else wanted to license it? How long would it take them to train it?" And they said, "Oh no, it's fine. It would already be trained." I'm like, "But Cybertruck." They go, no, Cybertruck had variable steering and rear steering. Those were the problems. It wasn't that it couldn't see the world, it's that it had to learn where its body was in space and how to control it. So it's like saying you wake up in the body of another human, you can control it. But if you wake up in the body of a squid, it might take you some time to figure out how to move. More like that. So it should be able to train it, first of all, just fine. But second of all, it's already been trained. And we've seen it in use at the We Robot event. Gives us confidence that that is solved. How does FSD signal to police that it's in unsupervised mode? So Li Auto in China has different colored lights. It has a cyan light on it that indicates it is in full self-driving mode. Tesla does not have that. I did ask the engineers about that, and they said, we don't have plans to add anything like that. I don't think police need to know. I think if you're doing something that deserves being pulled over, you should be pulled over. And the vehicle will know to pull itself over with emergency lights. And if it doesn't, that needs to be fixed, would be my take on that. Think Robotaxi actually launches in June or pushed by a month or two? So this is a tough one. My heart is divided. I want it to happen sooner than later, but I want it to happen when it's time. I don't want it to be premature. I don't want it to be desperately rushed. And I don't want it to happen the week of the Michigan takeover, the Michigan summer meetup in Muskegon, which is something that we are doing real soon. Let me find that here. I've got it somewhere because we are doing that. This is happening. Join us, won't you? In Muskegon, Heritage Landing, big, beautiful park. We're going to have Sandy Monroe there. I'm going to be there. Dr. Know-It-All, Jan from Tesla Fix. We're actually getting David from Tesla Welt, the biggest podcast on Tesla in Germany. It is going to be a big, big day. Bearded Tesla guy, Tesla Tino, Tesla Tina, Sue Monroe, Sandy's wife, will be there speaking as well. Dirty Tesla, whole bunch of great folks. Jim, the Iowa Tesla guy. Brian Reeby drives electric. I don't recall if he's speaking or not, but I'm not sure. John from Tech Geek Tesla, whole bunch of great folks. Many names I'm sure I am forgetting. Back to this. So anyway, do I think it'll happen in June? I don't know. When Elon puts dates that far out in advance, they tend to slip. It's only when something is 2 weeks out, you know it's real. Rick says, hi, hello, DRK, doing the hard work, moderating so many channels. We appreciate your service, my friend. Digital Blade Canada in the house. Am I back from China? I am. That is why I'm able to do this, because it is not 3 o'clock in the morning. I did tune in for, what would it be? Something like that. Anyway, the hour was prohibitive. That's why I've not been on the live show for the last 2 weeks. We've got a bunch of new comments. Oh my gosh. Let's scroll back up. My gosh. Did I freeze? Am I unfrozen now? Hope you're having a great day. I am. Thank you. Button smash the like. Yes, please. Am I back? Yes, I am. Limiting factor for 5 seconds. Let me just move this so I can see all my screens. Let's see. The form factor question is interesting. I hope it was answered. Limiting factor for 5-second cybercabs is the castings. Tesla might just be pulling forward the inventory 6 months early. I don't think so, because I think definitely at 5 seconds they would have a problem. These are more like 1 minute castings, but I think it's going to be a long time before we would get anywhere close to a 5 second cycle time. And these castings are small enough that they could use smaller casting machines to do it. I don't think they want to start stockpiling at a rampant pace this early. So I don't know. Hope I'm having a great day. So far, so good. I actually got my coffee this morning, so it is permissible to speak to me because, don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. Let's see. Welcome back. Yes, thank you. Oh, hey, Jeff. Good to see you. I have many updates to share. We should talk later today or tomorrow if you have time. A brilliant analogy with a squid. Thank you. A squid. They don't need to know. Shouldn't Tesla consider ad hoc FST? Then you will always have a robotaxi to take you home safely when you need it, and you don't even have to wait for one to arrive. Oh, wow. So, oh my gosh. That's so here's the deal. I bought a Tesla, but I don't have FSD. I don't want FSD. But you know what I want is a taxi ride. Can you just make my car a taxi for the next drive? I won't buy FSD, but I can pay you to drive me home in my car. Oh, is that what you mean? Because that is insanely clever, and I'm gonna steal it. Guys, what do you think of that idea? Hit the like. Send the ticket invoiced. Just, hey, yeah, you can't ticket me. I wasn't driving. There's going to be questions about that because you could say, well, yeah, but you're the driver. No, this isn't my car. I just hailed it on an app. You don't give the ticket to the passenger in an Uber. It's a big question, and I don't know what the answer is. I still think it launches in June, but not how everyone thinks. Maybe. I think their confidence in the June timeframe is the result of beta testing actively with employees. That is a big part of it. Tesla has a very clear picture of whether or not this is going to work in June and to what extent they're able to scale it. We're getting into May. So if we see an announcement in the next 3-4 weeks, there's your answer. And if we don't, we can start sweating a little more. What will the 2,000 Uber drivers in Austin do if their earnings collapse? Could they cause trouble? Unemployment remains at record lows. What they could do is go get a different job, is my thought. Yeah, I know a lot of those 2,000 Uber drivers. I don't know a lot of them, but I know that a lot of them do it as a side hustle. So maybe they could move to a different side hustle or pursue employment that is more meaningful for them. So I don't know, but preserving jobs is tricky. But until we start seeing unemployment rise due to automation, I see no reason to stand in the way of automation. And if we stop, it just means we unilaterally surrender, which is, tricky. It better be June. Otherwise, the stock price will tank and I need to buy more. Okay. What would be funny is how we're going to explain at a DUI checkpoint. No, officer, I wasn't driving at all. Yeah, I think there will need to be some kind of method to verify that the human wasn't driving. But I don't, for a DUI checkpoint, that's a different matter. If you're pulled over for behavior consistent with drunk driving, I think it would be a different matter. But I don't know. A safety driver has more purpose than that. A cop can deal with a safety driver. An autonomous vehicle, not so much. There was a situation about a year and a half, where there was a crime scene in San Francisco, and this little autonomous delivery robot rolled up to the police tape, stopped, and just rolled through the crime scene. And the police are looking at this little boxy Mr. Magoo stumbling through their crime scene going, I don't know. What do we do? And they just let it pass. A lot of situations will need to be thought of a little differently, I guess. There was a bunch of there was a bunch of Robotaxi castings, a lot more than 20. Yeah, it looked like hundreds, 100 or more. Uh, and that's, I think the number I saw was 70, but it looked like more than 70 to me. Um, it's it's moving forward. People have built up a perception of this crazy launch due to lack of information and details. We saw this already with the idea that they would launch cybercabs, and that just wasn't true. What? What? I don't follow. Now you had these driving experiences in China. What do you give Tesla Robotaxi's chances there if others are launched? If others all launched? So it's tricky. What I got to experience was not robotaxis. It was not vehicles with the intention of becoming robotaxis. It was vehicles with advanced driver assistance, similar to Tesla's FSD as it exists today, but they're not trying to turn them into level 4, level 5 tomorrow, because that's a whole different regulatory system. Supervised versus unsupervised in China is very different. Now, they do have, I don't remember which manufacturer right now, but it's in one of my upcoming videos. Level 3 has already been approved in Beijing from one of these companies. I want to say Huawei, maybe, that will allow them to allow you to take your hands off the wheel and your eyes off the wheel, your attention off the road. So, but the autonomous companies operating in Shenzhen are very different. They're completely different vehicles running completely different software. So it's really tough. It's comparing apples to, I guess, fried rice. There was a bunch of, yeah. When do you think we'll see the Tesla taxi in Seattle and Portland? Oh, I don't know, man. One of the two. Boy, I hope within 3 to 6 months of launch, but I don't know. 3 a.m. here. Sorry, Gavin, that's rough. I'm thinking this is for the scale up in first half of 26. Seems early for that, doesn't it? How many words of Chinese do you know now? Couple dozen. Not many. Not enough. Not enough to be much use. I couldn't believe how much of my Chinese vocabulary came back to me since I haven't been there in a very long time. How was your first post China interaction with Nick and Herbert off air? Great. Herbert, I was still shooting with in China. We just didn't do the live show. And this was the first time I talked to Nick. And I didn't talk to him off air because he showed up after we started and I left before we finished. So, fine. I know who flung dung. Limiting factor for cybercabs is driving rain, or does it have radar? We have not seen testing for, I mean, extreme weather that's been very successful. Uh, every one of us who has experience with FSD, you as well, Jeff, know that in driving rain, in the blinding kind of rain, it doesn't yet perform as well as a human. Humans, I think, do a better job of seeing through the rain, of piecing together what we're actually looking at than the computer does for now. So I don't know. That is a big concern of mine. My assessment of China's self-driving in comparison, do you see Tesla way ahead? Seems like the people are super excited with Tesla's FSD. So my experience is limited. I only got to try out 3 systems, and Neo's was terrifying and dangerous, and Huawei's was as good as Tesla. Mind you, the drive was only 30 minutes. It's an incomplete test. The fact that we had no interventions in 30 minutes, though, I mean, one of the interventions was when you get, it was like, we have to turn here because we're going to the employee parking section or something like that. Not a disengagement in that regard, just we have to put the car somewhere different. Yeah, so it was all fine. So they are catching up quick. They are closing the gap quickly. Do you think FSD will pull over automatically when it detects flashing lights? Behind it? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Just hit the like button. Thank you. How many likes are we up to, you guys? Let me know. Just made my afternoon iced coffee with Nutella. Wow, that sounds delicious. Oh, I don't think I could bring myself to do it though. But who am I to talk? I drink caramel mochas. I used to do the toffee nut. Starbucks got rid of it. How dare they? Uh, mm, yeah, impulse self-driving purchase. Uh, there is a another company in China working on a two-seater cab. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not aware of one, but I'm not aware of a lot of what is I mean, there's so much going on, it is impossible to know. To give you an idea of the scale of the Shanghai Auto Show, any of the individual rooms was as big as any auto show I've been to. If you've seen the LA Auto Show, that room is about the size of one of the four-leaf clover. And then you go to the next room of the four-leaf clover and the third one and the fourth one, and there's rooms in between. And then you notice outside there are escalators, and you go up, and there are two more floors just as big as the one you're on. One of them is the short floor that has all the suppliers, the parts makers, the tech companies, and another is a whole additional floor of autos. And it was just shocking. It went on, it took a lot of time to cover most of it. I could not cover all of it. But I do have a great video coming up with the folks from Caresoft, the benchmarking engineering firm out of Michigan that is similar to Monroe and Associates. It's a good one. It's a good one. Many states do not have laws for self-driving cars, including California, so they can't ticket them. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, ad hoc FST. I love it. With 10 vehicles and a command center in one city, I'd be disappointed if they can't get it done by July or by June. Uh, yeah, I, I'm not worried. Yeah, Soren, people love it. People love my idea. He says, stealing it. It's wonderful. I'll do my best to give you credit. I like the idea of free safety drives. Yeah, interesting news recently. Um, I think I need to hop over and cover. Boy, there's so much going on. I think I just real quick need to cover some of the comments from the actual show. Worth noting, there were a lot of pretty crazy comments on Herbert's channel. The ratio of kooky to clever, and there were some trolls in there. So I just don't know. If we have time, we'll get to it, but I just don't think we will. Do we need to make 145% more comments? Yes. Yes, you do. That is correct. Thank you, Moron EVs. Regular on the channel. Not a big fan of mine from what I can tell, but maybe. Certainly here all the time, and I appreciate that. Anyhow, every cybercab should have a bullseye painted on it. What? I mean, yeah. Tsunami coming. How are you expecting Tesla to train the cybercabs with or without real world data from that form factor? We did get that. I said, ask it in the after show and I'll address it, which I have. Regulations for no steering wheel or pedals is most probable reason for delay. Possible. Without knowing more about the data set, I expect that 0.30, that's within the GDP contraction. I don't understand enough of that to waste your time pontificating. If or when shelves are empty, we'll know, especially if they stay empty. I saw a comment today saying, well, maybe people should just buy less stuff, which had a real let them eat cake vibe to it that I found very tone deaf. And I thought, maybe let's not be ghoulish. I enjoy listening to Nick. He makes it very easy for me to understand the broad economics. Permits are public and near real time in California. Tesla has a chauffeur permit so far in California, allows them to have employees drive vehicles, drive employees. Waymo doesn't scale. That's the problem. For now, it doesn't. It could in the future, but they've been real close to that future for a real long time. In 2017, they ordered 63,000, 73,000 Chrysler Pacificas, and never took delivery because even though it's been 7 years, 8 years, they're still not ready. See how long it takes to roll out and how fast it is. How many parts from China in the Waymo car? Brilliant question. Today, not that many. The car's made by the I-Pace is made by Magna and then outfitted by Magna. The I-Pace is a fine car. It's okay. But they want to move to the Zeekr Mix, which is 100% from China. So I don't know how that's going to work. Well, and I've seen people say, well, they're not going to sell them. They're just going to have them. Yeah, that would be a loophole a mile wide. That's not going to fly. You're not going to get around tariffs that way. We expect it to scale fast. Let's see. Yeah. When a sexy Cybertruck can go through a drive-through on its own, stock will skyrocket. Especially, yeah, if it's level 3. I don't know. So you're just like not even paying attention. That would be wonderful. Although, a minute ago I said it doesn't matter if the police know you're on self-driving. It does matter because I don't want to get pulled over for texting and driving if I'm not driving. I don't know. Waymo has already failed. People just don't see the horror videos of cars going down wrong streets. I have seen a video of it going the wrong way. And I've seen the videos of humans doing it, but that doesn't excuse it. 3-1. I remember that single source fact I learned. See, I pay attention. That is true. It is a single source rumor. Thank you, Matt, for the gentle reminder. I will seek verification of that. That's fair. 45% reduction. In Port of Seattle's empty. Port of Seattle is empty. I went to the Dollar Tree last night to see how they're doing, and Dollar Tree is about as full as you would find it the day after Christmas. It's pretty empty, and they're starting to spread things out on the shelves to make it look more full than it is. Those are people who don't have the opportunity to just spend more to buy domestic. It is concerning. But hey, is it true that the Chinese crackdown on autonomous driving to be in China is because of one of the manufacturers said 3 fatal? Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard about a crackdown, but there was a horrible crash with fatalities week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I want to say it might have been Xiaomi or Huawei. It was one of the big players, one of the exciting players. So I don't know. Yeah, LiDAR can malfunction. LiDAR can introduce more noise than it resolves in uncertainty. How much energy Waymo sensor suite and computer consumes versus Tesla? So Waymo's been using traditional LiDAR, and in China what they're using now is solid state LiDAR, which I have to assume uses less energy because, no moving parts and whatnot. So hopefully better. Yeah, Huawei crashed. Well, I think that might be a different crash, but I'm not sure. No, yeah, that's a different crash because the one I'm thinking of involved a high rate of speed. Unfortunate. Let's jump back over here because there's a lot going on. Or get a Tesla. Nutella is a gateway drug. Let's see. Do we know what version of FST the current Robotaxis for employees is on? We do not. I can tell you it was on, I think, 13.2. It was on one version newer than what we had at the time for We Robot. We are now driving on what it had for We Robot, but I imagine it had a fork to prevent the specific use case. Hey guys, get it in the boring tunnel. That's where it needs to be. Get the We Robot build in the boring tunnel. Imagine riders won't be allowed to sit in the driver's seat due to the mechanical connection. Maybe in China, what they've done with some of them is put a cover over the wheel. So you could grab the cover, but you couldn't grab the wheel itself. Clip that and release it as a short, or maybe work on the telling of it. Which story? Sorry, Matt, I forgot. Imagine Riders. Yeah. Welcome back. Love the videos. Thank you, Kevin. Going to research it now. Please do. Thank you. I will look for that momentarily. We thought they would launch with Cybercabs, but it seems obvious they will launch with Wise and drivers. I'd be surprised if there isn't one or two at least in the mix, but I don't know. I don't know. Tesla does not require a safety driver. Not in the car, but I'd be very surprised if they don't have one back at home office, a remote supervisor. Do you think Waymo will pivot and drop LiDAR once they realize Tesla passed them? Who knows, right? We've seen some real sunk cost fallacy folks out there, but I just don't know. If they realize that they can do it without LiDAR, boy, are they going to be annoyed. Someone just told me a story about a food delivery robot. Yeah, that. Yes, that's fun. No one ever talks about this. Waymo will not come to your house and pick you up and take you to the grocery store and drop you off in the parking lot. No? Really? 400 castings today. Wow, that's crazy. We all thought the Robotaxi network would launch in June, but it's launching with Reason Wise. Is it? Is that confirmed? Do we know that? 520 castings, 52 crates of 10 each. I saw just the pictures. I didn't have a chance to see the video. I've been in recordings for the last 3.5 hours because I release at least 15 videos a week because it's what I have to. Seattle and Portland are at the bottom of the list. Not enough population major. Oh, yeah. Got to start with the big cities. I think that's true. It depends on if it works, it works. Open the floodgates. Expand as quick as you can. That semi talk the other day, he said new battery, but he didn't elaborate. Is it the 4680? What I heard him say was still a 2170, but it's a new, I assumed chemistry, or maybe the cans are thinner or something that adds the efficiency in that way. So I don't believe it's the 4680. No, Garth, I do not have that kind of dish. In 2022, a food delivery rolled through an active crime scene outside Hollywood High School after a cameraman lifted the police tape, unintentionally contaminating the area. Yeah, so it was in LA. I thought it was in San Francisco, but there we go. Beijing level 3, apparently Xiaopeng and Zeekr and Mercedes. Interesting. Humans are a little more crazy, and we drive when we shouldn't. Oh, who among us hasn't driven too tired or too distracted or in just too bad of a mood? Dirty Tesla's getting rid of his Cybertruck because of the haters. I did not see that. That's unfortunate. I'll have to talk to him about that. People who have questions about how the system perform will simply ask themselves, how would a human do it? That's what the data is for. We're getting up on the half hour. We need 100 likes. We're at 52. How many likes are we at now? Double check for me. 64. I meant to say Highlander, who has met me at 2 events now and will be meeting me again in June. So I will not tell you his secret identity, but if you come to the big event in June, he will be wearing a kilt. So, and feeding me a fine lunch of spiders, apparently. Not really, but he's a very funny guy with his little spider jokes. Robotaxi may charge $1 a mile. If true, it would be pointless and not cost effective to own a vehicle, considering the majority of the time it's not being used. Well, yes, but my car only costs 50 grand and I'm going to keep it forever. Right, but you have to pay for insurance and energy or fuel or oil changes if it's a gas car. But really, the insurance and the registration, even if you only drive, 10,000 miles a year, it's even, we'll see what happens. But that's why I don't use Blue Sky or X. Didn't catch the first part. Let's see. I wonder if those Dollar Tree containers are not leaving China or leaving and going to other countries. That's the real trick is shipping containers are an orchestra. Intermodal freight is it's a well choreographed dance. If I mean, maybe those boats are sitting off the coast, but they're supposed to pick something up and go somewhere else. It's going to disrupt the entire supply chain everywhere. This chaos is a self-inflicted wound. Um, it's the sort of thing our enemies would wish upon us. You got to make and sell, give away Grok Inside stickers. Let's see. Never heard of it. You've never heard of Nutella? Oh, it's a hazelnut spread for your toast, uh, which is a fancy way of saying it's chocolate frosting. It's just chocolate frosting, but it's so wonderful. It's like peanut butter, except chocolatey flavored. It's wonderful. Do Chinese FSD companies have real world data? Yes. They've been putting the sensors on the cars for about a year or two. They have real world data. Especially Huawei and BYD are catching up. They don't have as much data as Tesla, but they're catching up quick, and it shows in the quality of their product. Yeah, it's crazy. Gas station range anxiety is real. Can't tell you how many times we got to rush to this appointment. The kids are taking too long to get ready. We got to get to the pediatrician or whatever, get in the car, realize I'm under a quarter tank and I got a ways to go. Am I going to make it? Do I stop? Ugh. Let's see. Brian has a great sense of humor. Thanks. I've been told I'm, good looking and funny. And I just remind people that I got my looks from my mom and my good humor from the ice cream man. Let's see. Your brand of humor is awesome. Love it. Yeah, thank you. Tesla has their own insurance, no issues. Sort of. Sort of. It's very unclear what's going on with Tesla insurance. Elon said anything over 13 cents a mile was profit. Elon may be exaggerating because there's no world in which I come up with numbers remotely close to that. And I've crunched them a bunch of different ways. I don't see the cost of parking on any of these ownership versus robotaxi comparisons. Big deal for NYC. For the cost of parking in NYC, you could just never have to get a car again because parking alone, my goodness, can eat you alive. Are Chinese vehicles obsessed with 0 to 60 like the US? I don't know. It's on the stats, but I don't know. Do I think Chinese cars are made with as much quality as Teslas? Yes. I can't speak for all of them, but I've gone to a used car lot and looked at used cars, and they're solid. All the trim is still tight. The quality appears to be solid. Yeah. So, Brian is like this in real life. Yeah, I am. I've actually been told that by more than one person who's in the chat today. That what you see is what you get. And I don't know if that's a good thing, but I was at humor. I know, but I needed it for the joke. I don't see Waymo being able to scale. Even first, how long it took them to geofence. Right. That's the problem. It's the geofencing. Oh, I mean, you could brute force it. You could just literally send out 10,000 safety. You could brute force it, but it would suck. It would suck. Hey, thank you, Mark, for giving Bob a gift membership. Parking was $35 in Tampa for the Rays versus Angels a couple weeks back. That's reasonable. That's low. I just paid $180 to park in the economy lot for the China trip. Ugh, but I was able to trickle charge the whole time. So the car got up to 80% and then stayed there. Okay. Well, I think that's enough of that for today. I haven't had breakfast yet, and it's now time for lunch, so I should do that. Folks, thank you for hanging out with me. Yeah, what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Thank you for the support. Thank you for subscribing and the thumbs up and all of that. You make the journey worth it. So everybody else, if you're catching this on the replay, yes, hit like before you go. If you're catching this on the replay, you can ask the questions. I'm always reading them as best I can. I can't read all of them, I guess, but I try to. And sometimes I respond. And sometimes if you say something truly silly, I respond in kind. And if you say something really dumb, sometimes the kindness is less kind. It's a little bit of snark is what I get you there. So everybody, thank you so much. To all you clever robots, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you on the next live stream. Who knows? Ooh, we made it over 100. Good job. Thank you, guys.